Hey everybody, my name's Commander Eagle 131, and I'd like to show off the Corbita-Class freighter. So the Navigator Corps was known as the exploration branch of the UC military, charting systems and making new discoveries in deep space. However, it wasn't just exploration that they were efficient at. The now defunct exploration branch of the UC military had a whole sub-department dedicated to deep space logistics. Think about that. How else would they get heavy materials out into the fringes of space to establish outposts and forward operating bases? Enter the Corbita-Class freighter, the second entry in EAG's ship shop line of UC Navigator Corps ships, and the shining star and icon of the lesser-known UC Navigator Corps logistics wing. So if you'd like to hear more about my headcanon around the UC Navigator Corps line of ships and how EAG's ship shop started this rebuild project, I won't go into those details right now, but I'll link a card at the top of the screen right now to the first UC Navigator Corps ship we made, where I talk about that in detail. So the Corbita's purpose was to support larger expeditionary groups on long-term missions. It was originally conceived as an all-in-one heavy materials freighter for outpost construction, but it wasn't uncommon to see them making local bulk deliveries in human-settled space either. So exterior design-wise, we can see this is Deimos Staryards through and through, although the original designers of the ship really chose a different overall aesthetic to the usual combat-oriented ship design. Whether intentional or not, the Corbita looks like a huge industrial ship, all while maintaining its usual Deimos charm. The most striking design feature is the bottom-mounted Ares bridge. All Navigator Corps blueprints the UC government declassified to us at EAG's ship shop have this feature. Sarah Morgan has been our historical guide throughout this whole process, and she has mentioned that the ships were all designed this way on purpose because the Navigator Corps spent a ton of time looking down. There are some footnotes in the blueprints referencing ancient Earth lighter-than-air, rigid-framed airships, not to be confused with ancient blimps, by the way, and their command and control areas being mounted on the bottom of those ships. We think the original engineers took some cues from these ancient designs, as they were perfect for takeoff and landing procedures, scouting, and a whole plethora of other activities when looking towards the ground would be important. The vessel is equipped with side-mounted cargo containers for easy loading and unloading at port or out on some distant world. Therefore, it is quite a massive vessel, so the inclusion of a heavy-duty takeoff and landing system was necessary. Surprisingly enough, Deimos Staryard designers chose the Nova Galactic design over their own for this system, and they chose it themselves. It was not a refit from EAG's ship shop. Sarah Morgan mentioned that they were chosen for their stronger thrust capability required to lift and land such a massive vessel. However, this note was always absent from all service manuals and promotional material. It's those side-mounted landing gear, however, that earned the Corbita its loved nickname, Tardigrade. Aptly chosen by Navigator Corps service people, especially since this ship is one tough son of a gun. Corbita captains could take this ship to any world, climate, or battle, and the good old Tardigrade would emerge absolutely unscathed. It puts Hope Tech trucks to shame. So this is a Deimos Staryards military design, so the Corbita, or Tardigrade, is more than able to handle itself during a pirate attack. The ship's got 4 state-of-the-art particle turrets and 3 forward-facing laser beam cannons. It also features a massive shield and incredible armor. To quote Nikau Henderson of Deimos Staryards, it's simply the best of the best. So let's go ahead and pull up the spec sheet. It has a C-class reactor with an output of 40, crew complement of 8, jump range of 30 light years, a mobility rating of 31, and a total fuel capacity of 870. So the Corbita, being such a massive vessel, doesn't have a very good mobility rating, as we can see. The main concern is combat performance. Let me reassure you, with the inclusion of a huge reactor, there's plenty of power budget there to run top-tier turrets to make up for its increased mass and decreased agility. So as long as you crew your vessel properly, the Corbita will ward off any attackers silly enough to try to take a piece of your space cheddar. Alright, we're just about to head off into the ship builder, but before we do that, I have a few disclaimers for you. First, this will not be a ship builder tool tutorial, this will be a ship build tutorial. I'll be showing you how to build this specific ship and assuming that you're already comfortable with the ship builder. Second, to build the Corbita to exacting specifications, you'll need rank 4 ship designs, rank 4 piloting, and to be level 60 or above. Again, this is all required for exacting specifications. You'll be able to build most of this ship without all that, but your mileage may vary based on your own level and skill ranks. And last, this ship relies on some glitch building, the flip glitch and the copy glitch. If you don't know how to do these, I'll be providing how-to material on each glitch build during the builder segment. Things like your achievements won't be affected and you won't be branded as a cheater. Alright, we're almost ready to head off into the builder, but before we do that, we gotta go pick up some Staryard specific modules. And don't worry, it's a tiny list this time. First, we're gonna head to Deimos Staryard in the Sol system. We're gonna go grab one DS40.2 Ares bridge. And last, we need to head to Nova Galactic Vendor, there in the Sol system as well. We're gonna go pick up 3 NG-20 landing gear. And that is everything, so I shall see you in the builder. Okay, so here we are in the builder. Normally I have the ship already exploded out, but I kind of wanted to leave it intact so you can kind of see what it looks like in the builder's, raw form. So you're not like blindly building towards something that you might not have a clear depiction on what it's supposed to look like in the end. So this is what it looks like. Everything kind of is centered around a central spine. So let me go ahead and take all these side pieces off, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, so these 2 blocks here that run all the way, that run the whole length of the ship, just think of this as kind of the central spine, and everything kind of gets placed around this center line here. So we're going to be building this thing a little bit out of whack here and there, but that is to be expected with a ship with so much glitch building. So let's go ahead and explode the ship out. This will take me a few minutes, but for you, it will only be 1 second. Okay, and like magic, we have the ship exploded out. So I've got it broken up into sort of the 4 main segments here. So right in front of us is our main Habs layout. So you can see this. It's not a super complicated layout. Definitely not one of those grand RP interior builds that I've done. So if we skip over here, we see this is the sort of central spine area that I referenced a little bit ago. Right here, we can think of this as one of the big piles of stuff. This is a big old pile of different types of things that kind of lend to the ship's overall look and shape. Got some landing gear, our main engines. There's our main reactor here. Then over here, this is another big pile of stuff. Here's even more structural pieces, our main cargo holds, some more landing gear. So we're going to be kind of assembling this, in this order. So we'll begin with the Habs layout. Okay, so before we get started assembling these Habs, I just have a few points I need to talk about. First is player pathing. It's a very simple straight line. Landing bay is here. Here's our 1x1 and our docking hatch, and here's the bridge. So literally, it's just one straight line. It's super simple, to the point. I don't know if any of you other spacefarers do this, but I have a workshop on top. That's for my own convenience. Just so I can run straight in and do work on my armor or weapons if I need to and just walk back out. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Just these guys here it's probably where you're going to be spending most of your time. There's all these other Habs. I didn't really build the interior with roleplay in mind. There wasn't a whole lot of space anyway, since this is mostly an exterior aesthetic design ship, a kind of a cool factor ship, if you will. It can carry enough cargo to make it worth your while, unless you've got tens of thousands of things. I see people on YouTube advertising, just thousands and thousands of cargo space, which I feel is a little bit unrealistic. So yeah, so this is kind of this is just one big roleplay cargo freighter vessel, and these Habs kind of reflect it. Yes, it's a roleplayed as a UC military ship, but it's kind of merchant navy style. So it's a very simple Hab setup. It's part of the Navigator Corps, but its purpose is not for exploration. Its purpose is to haul the expeditionary fleet's stuff. And I guess that is kind of reflected. You can argue that this is maybe a roleplay interior because, yeah, it's literally just crew quarters, captain's quarters, a couple of control stations for crew count, and that's it. There's a Nova Galactic all-in-one berth down here. I tossed that on there for the heck of it. I love the interior of this Hab, and it's been a long time since I've had one on a ship that I've designed, so I put it down there just because I miss seeing the inside. So if that's going to bug you, you can just swap that out with the Deimos. So the last talking point, due to the nature of how everything's going to be built on this ship, we're going to assemble the bottom half of the Habs first, and then after that we're going to assemble this central spine section. And then we're going to cap that off with the rest of our Habs on top here. So we're going to be assembling this after this. So let's go ahead and get our bottom Habs put on, and we'll get on our way with the building. Okay, so to get started with the placement of our Habs, I'm just going to pull pieces off of my build and just walk you through it on a part-by-part basis. So go ahead and pull up your build menu. Tab on over to your landing bays. We're going to start with a ship bed 200 landing bay from Tayo. Actually, before we do all this, I'm going to move this back here so it's less confusing. Sorry about that. Okay, so in front of our landing bay, let's go ahead and tap over to our Habs tab. And focusing on this spot right here, we're going to place our 1x1 from Deimos. Anyone you choose. Storeroom, companionway, doesn't matter. Okay, let's go ahead and focus on the bottom connector. That's where our docker is going to go. So tab over to your dockers, and we're going to use this 100 DP slim docker bottom. Like that. Okay, so on this front part of our 1x1, that's where our bridge is going to go. So tab over to your cockpits and select your DS 40.2 Ares bridge that we got from Deimos Staryard. All right. Next, let's focus on this connector point on our 1x1's top. We're going to be placing our Deimos workshop there. Like so. Then on this back spot on our workshop, we're going to be placing a Deimos control station. And here on this connector point, we're going to be placing our Nova Galactic all-in-one berth A. Okay, then let's go ahead and focus on this spot right here on the top. And we're going to be placing a stack of 2 1x1s. Just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start assembling our central spine. And as I mentioned before, we'll do this top half of the Habs at a later time. So I'm going to go ahead and put these all the way over here so we don't get confused. And I'm going to go ahead and move our Hab assembly back here for now. So let's go ahead and get this guy started. So for our sort of central spine area here, let me just walk you through this real quick. We're going to be performing 3 copy glitches in this section here. So the first, you can see here we have 3 fuel tanks, and if you look closely, there's 6 Hope Tech pipes mid glitched into these 3 tanks. Over here, these Stroud engine bracers, they are on top of the grav drive at the moment. However, these are going to be on the level of the grav drive, and then we're going to copy glitch a grav drive on top of these 2 pillars. And then the third and final copy glitch up in this area is just going to be these 2 Nova bracers. They're going to need to go here. But that doesn't work, obviously, because they're kind of clipping into the Ares bridge. So we're just going to end up copy glitching these 2 down. In the meantime, I'm going to delete those. So let's go ahead and get started placing these parts. If you don't know how to perform the copy glitch, if you check up on the corner of the screen right now, I'm going to link a card. And that takes you to a 50-second clip where I teach the basics behind the copy glitch and the theory behind it. So that way, if you don't know how to do it and you want to build along with me here, you'll get the knowledge you need to continue on. So go ahead and watch that if you don't know how to do the copy glitch. Okay, so to begin with the building, let me just go ahead and move these pillars off. And I do want to make one quick note. I totally stealth deleted 8 cargo holds from over here in this empty space here. If you might notice, the mobility rating probably jumped from about 31 to 55. That's why this is a max module limit ship. So I had to delete a few modules to be able to do the copy glitch the right way. Shouldn't be a problem for you because you don't have the whole ship placed in your builder yet, but I do, so I had to delete some stuff, make some space. So let's go ahead and place all these items. We're going to start by getting this glitch build done over here with the fuel tanks and the HopeTech pipes. We're going to be glitch building it all to the grav drive. So go ahead and tab over to your grav drives tab and go ahead and get your grav drive fitted. I'm using the J51. Use whichever one you want. Just make sure that you've got connector points on all of the exterior faces because we will be using all of these connection points. Let's go ahead and place that. Focusing on these 2 spots here, we're going to be tabbing over to our fuel tanks tab, and we're using this 600T helium-3 tank. And we're going to place 3 of them like this. Okay? So let's get our copy glitch environment set up. So just use Nova Bracer to keep it simple, or Deimos Hull A, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. We're going to be putting 2 on top and bottom of our grav drive. Okay? Go ahead and use 3 HopeTech pipes A mid, and they're going to get attached to the top bracer, and we're going to use 3 more on the bottom bracer for a grand total of 6. And so this is what our copy glitch environment should look like this. And you already know what we're going to do. We're going to copy glitch these down. We're going to copy glitch these up. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Yep. Done. Okay. So that's all 6 of those HopeTech pipes glitch built in. Let's delete all the stuff we don't need. Let's just double click to make sure everything's connected, and good, it is. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and throw this completed glitch build assembly onto the main build over here. So let's move off our grav drive, double click all of these items, and drag them over to the main build. Okay. We will be primarily working over here now. So let's go ahead and get the rest of this stuff placed. Focus on this point right here on your workshop. We're going to be placing these 2 Stroud engine bracer Bs right there. Okay. I'm going to move our main build a little bit closer now. Cool. Take your grav drive and put it on top of our engine bracer on top here, and we're going to copy glitch this down. So go ahead and copy glitch it until it hits the floor right here, okay? And we've just copy glitched it to this fuel tank, so it is... Delete those 2 grav drives you don't need, and your completed assembly should look something like this. Okay? Let's get all of these guys fitted, the Nova Galactic bracers. So focusing on our 2 connector points on the front of our grav drive, we're just going to do 2 Nova Galactic bracers there. And then you can just copy those 2, because we're going to be placing 2 more in front of them. Alright. So we need to perform 2 more copy glitches. Actually, we can just do 1. Let's go ahead and select both of these Nova bracers, and we're going to copy glitch them to this point on our workshop. Oops. Come on. There we go. Double click, and it's connected. Cool. So we should have a grand total of 6 Nova Galactic bracers, like so. Okay. Let's get these cosmetic guys placed here. So let's focus on these 2 points here on the fronts of our Nova Galactic bracers. We're just going to use 2 Deimos braking engines to cap off that area. And then underneath those bracers goes a Hope Tech Nose B4. And that's going to cap off our lower area there. Right? And so that completes this sort of bottom half section. So if that was the first time you've ever done a copy glitch, congratulations. That was one of the more advanced copy glitches I've done. I really, really like the aesthetic opportunities that copy glitch building can provide with your, exterior design. So we didn't really need to do these copy glitches, but I wanted these 6 Hope Tech pipes running through these fuel tanks because it provides some nice extra lines, some nice continuity lines, I guess. And it also, this stuff is kind of exposed. Having these things running through it makes it look a little bit beefier, a little bit more industrial. A lot of this stuff's getting covered up by cargo holds, but I did leave this sort of central fuel tank here exposed. So you see these nice lines that run through this whole section. And then, of course, here with this grav drive, we're going to be mounting cargo holds to both sides of it, so you're not really going to be able to see inside much, but when you're flying and looking at your ship in space, if the sunlight hits it in just the right spot, it shines straight through, and it gives you the impression that the ship's just kind of hollow and not made out of much metal. So that's why I have these Stroud bracers glitch built into the center here, because it still gives it a transparent look when the sunlight hits it at the right angle. However, you'll see these pillars in there, and it just makes it look a lot beefier. So that's why we have these glitch builds here. Okay, so we're ready to start placing the rest of our Habs. So we're going to place our Habs, and then do this sort of rear engine section with the reactor in our engines. So let's go ahead and get these Habs placed. So focusing on this spot right here, we're going to just place another 1x1, so you can probably just copy the one that you already got placed. I'm just going to drag mine over. Okay. So then in front here, we're going to be lining this whole top area with 2x1s. You can really just use whichever ones you want. But if you're copying my exact build, the first one's going to be a control station. The second one will be an all-in-one berth, and then another all-in-one berth in front of it. Just like that. Okay. Let's come on back to the aft section again. On top of our ladder well 1x1 stack here, we are going to use a Deimos captain's quarters. Okay. And that completes our Hab setup. Next, we will place all of these items. So I just want to kind of preface this a little bit. So it looks like it appears that my Supernova 2200 engine's connected to this reactor, but in fact it's not. Most of our C-class reactors do not have a rear attachment point, as you can see here. The only reactor series in the C-class that does have a rear attachment point are these Theta Pinch reactors, but they only, to my knowledge, mine only go up to 37 power output. I would like to have 40. So I'm kind of cheating the system here a little bit by doing a glitch build. We're going to copy glitch this Hope Tech pipe in, and that's going to serve as the rear anchor point for our aft engine. I don't really have a problem doing this because this is just my personal gripe, so don't let me influence your opinions of Bethesda or the game. These are my opinions and my opinions only, but I think it's personally kind of arbitrary that we don't have rear attachment points on these reactors. I see what they're doing there, it's like a you can't have it all situation, I guess. You want attachment points, you got to deal with lower power output. You want more power output, you got to deal with not having a rear attachment point. I think it's a little arbitrary. So again, personal preferences, personal opinions. Don't let me affect what you think, but for my purposes, I don't have a problem working around that because, I don't know, it's a single-player game. It's you know, we're not competing with each other, so I'm gonna just do this. So if you're gonna use the 37 reactor, you don't need to do this glitch build, so you can just skip over it, but we are going to need a rear attachment point for this. So to get our copy glitch build environment set up, let's go ahead and place a Hope Tech pipes mid right here, and another one like this. Okay. Let's get a Deimos hull A placed in this little gap, okay? Like this. And I'm going to copy one and stick it here. Copy another one and put it up here. Okay, and this is where our glitch build's going to occur. We're just going to copy glitch this pipe up onto this hull A's attachment point right there. Okay, done. We can just delete all of these. I had you copy this one here because we are going to be, that's part of the actual build. So we can just leave this hull A where it is. And then don't forget to move your 2x1 hab back on down below. Okay. So we are ready to start placing the engines. So as you can see here, we got two Supernova 2200 engines stacked on top of each other. This is another copy glitch. They can't actually get stacked on top of anything because the round, the cylindrical nature, it kind of goes above and below. So we have to copy glitch. So let's go ahead and mount this one right on that point, just like that. We're going to copy it up and copy it down. So copy glitch down, copy glitch up, and voila, you're done. Don't forget to delete that middle engine. And there we go. We got two 2200 engines stacked on top of each other real nicely like that. See, look, we can't see, it won't let us do that. Okay, so next, let's get our last two engines fitted. So we're going to use two White Dwarf 2030s, and they're just getting attached to the two side anchor points of our 2200 engines, like this. Let me just give a quick comment on these engines. I chose these for aesthetics, because the completed design, you get this really cool looking triangle of main thrusters back here. Also, the 2030 engines are some of my favorite engines in the entire game. Bethesda definitely did a great job with designing these pieces. They're just the coolest looking engines in the whole game, and they really kind of open up a lot of exterior design choices, I guess you can call it. So this is the main reason why the mobility is so bad. When this thing's complete, the mobility rating is going to shoot down to 31. But I chose this because they just look so cool, and to be honest with you, I think it would be a little bit strange, you know, helming such a heavy, massive freighter and having 90 plus mobility, so it's personal preference. So if you can't live with this, I would definitely explore other options for your thruster assembly. Okay, so I'm good to delete that thruster because we don't need it anymore. So the last piece that we need to mount on the back side here is under structural, and we're going to take a Deimos belly, flip it aft, and it's going to need to get glitch built onto this spot here. So we're going to use the flip glitch to fit this, because you see it won't go in because this 2200 engine extends below its cube. So if you don't know how to do a flip glitch, it's one of the more basic glitches. It's super easy. Go ahead and check the cards right now up top here. I'm linking a quick clip where I teach you how to perform a flip glitch. But other than that, let's go ahead and get this guy fitted. Flip, cancel, done. Cool. So the bulk of the most in-depth glitch building is done. The center line of the entire ship is done. So the rest of this is going to be just simple follow the leader if you're building along with me. We're going to have to do a few more glitch builds, but they're just super easy glitch builds from here on out. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy done. We're going to be placing pretty much everything from top to bottom and from back to front. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to go ahead and move this guy closer. And before we do this, I'm going to move all these guns off. We're going to do those guns later. Okay, so let's go ahead and focus on this point right here. Tab over to your shield generators. We're going to be using this SG-1800 shield generator. It's the highest tier one, the level 60 and up one. Right behind it, we are going to tab over to our structural. We're going to place a Hope Tech Marker A there. Come on. Okay, so focusing on our sides of our captain's quarters here, we're going to be using 2 Deimos A-wings, 1 per side, just like this. Okay, let's go ahead and focus on this spot right here. I'm going to use a Deimos Cowling 4, just like that. So on these 4 spots here on the top, we're going to be using 4 Deimos B-spines. Just like this. And in front of it, we're going to use a Deimos A-spine. Swing the camera around to look at the nose area. Right up front here, we're just going to cap this whole top section off with a Hope Tech Nose B. Alright. Let's go ahead and move our way to the back of the ship. Look at the size of our Supernova 2200 engine. On both sides, we're going to be placing a Deimos bumper, the aft variants, and we are going to need to glitch build these into place using the flip glitch. So go ahead and attach it on and flip it. Cool. And flip glitch on the other side as well. Done. Next, on these 2 sections here, these 2 spots on both sides, we're going to be using a mid Deimos bumper, port and starboard mid. Okay, let's go ahead and focus on these 2 spots here. Same deal, Deimos mid bumpers on both sides. Now you might have noticed these were clipping into each other here. We're going to be glitch building these 2 inside of each other like this. Interconnected. These 2 glitched into each other like so. It's going to create a nice little centralized viewing kind of leading line area for this central fuel tank, because this is going to be the only fuel tank that's exposed once we are finished assembling all these cosmetic pieces. Okay, next we're just going to finish off with two more Deimos mid bumpers just like this. And to cap that off, we're going to use the 4 variant of the Deimos bumpers up at the front, like this. Okay. We're going to go ahead and swing our camera around to look at the belly of the ship. So go ahead and tab over to your landing gears tab. Those NG-20 landing gear that we picked up from Nova Galactic, we're going to be placing all 3 on these 3 anchor points on the bottom. So I'm using 2 wide variants for the 2 rear ones, and then the little nose cone looking one for the front, so the 4 variant. Even though this looks smaller than the wide ones, the landing thrust doesn't change. Okay, let's go ahead and get all these guys placed in, so let's move our build a little bit closer. Okay. Again, I am going to take the liberty of moving these weapons out. We'll do those at the very end. Cool. So, let's go ahead and focus on these 3 points on both sides of the ship. We're going to place our little cargo containers there. So, tabbing over to your cargo holds tab, we're going to be using 6 Stormax 60 cargo holds, 3 per side. And they're going to get fitted just like that, in this kind of L shape. Now I want to make a quick note about these guys here. There was I made a YouTube community post on this ship a while ago before I made this video. I believe the user's name was 383 Commando, so thanks for pointing that out. They mentioned that there's currently a glitch with these things. At least on the Xbox. I haven't seen or heard of anything about it on the PC, so it might just be an Xbox thing. I don't know. I've never seen it. But apparently these cargo holds will move around like turrets do. So that sounds like kind of kind of a aesthetic breaking glitch to me. So I haven't, again, personally seen it, but if you do know of that and it does happen to you, you don't actually have to use these. So if we look at the specifications for this cargo hold, it's got 435 cargo and 5 hull. So there's an alternative to this one, but you have to go to Deimos Staryard for it. So there's a variant of the little ingot looking cargo hold. So this one right here, the ballast series, see that? There is a beefier and physically larger version of this cargo hold that has the same exact specifications as these StormMax 60s do. And I don't know if these are also part of the bug. Hopefully they wouldn't be, but that would be a viable alternative if you don't want to use these CCAN looking cargo containers. But on my build, they're staying on mine, so just know you've got an alternative. So let's go ahead and look at this empty spot then. On both sides, we're going to be using, under your structural, go back to your structural, we're going to be using 2 engine bracer A's from Stroud, and they're getting fitted in that empty spot on both sides. Okay. Let's focus on these 2 points. On both sides, we're going to be using a total of 4 Deimos bumpers, the 4 variants, 2 per side, like that. Okay. We're going to go ahead and skip this one, nothing goes there. We're going to be using 4 more Deimos bumpers, the aft variants, 2 per side, like that. Okay. Go ahead and tab back over to your, or copy these, either or, but we're going to be using a grand total of 8 StormMax 60s, or the ballast cargo holds, whichever you choose, that go here in these 4 spots on both sides. So 4 on that side, then 4 on this side, just like that. Let's just make sure they're connected. Whoops, I messed up. Back 1 spot. There we go. Let's make sure it's all connected. Yep, cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and move up 1 slot here. So we're going to be focusing on these 2 slots on both sides. We're going to be using a grand total of 4 Nova Galactic braking engines, 2 per side. Just like this. This is our incredibly beefy looking retro thruster setup. I kind of felt like you need quite a retro assembly to be able to stop such a massive vessel like this. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the aft section. So let's go ahead and pay attention to this sort of line here of anchor points. Go ahead and tab on over to your landing gear tab. Going to be using a total of 6 NG10 landing gear, the aft variants, 3 per side, like this. Okay. We'll be doing the same thing for landing gear here. So on these 2 points here, on our landing bay and our 1x1 cube, we're going to be placing 4 variants. 2 per sides for a grand total of 4. Just like that. Oops, sorry, not these 2 points, these top 2 points. Hopefully you know what I meant. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at this empty spot here underneath our exposed fuel tank. On both sides, we're going to be using, under your cargo holds, 2 Dagama 1010 shielded cargo holds. Just like that. And then here, to finish off most of this stuff here, in these empty spots here right above the Ares bridge, we're going to be using a total of 4 Deimos bumpers, aft and 4. We're going to need to flip glitch all these into place. So stick it on that point, flip, flip. Okay, and do the other side. And it's connected. Excellent. Okay, so last but not least, let's get our weapons taken care of. So if you're opting to copy off of my exact weapon setup here, I'm using 4 PBO-300 auto alpha turrets, 2 mounted on Deimos Wing Ds. And those assemblies get attached to the ends of our Stroud engine bracers. So we got these cool little weapon mount platforms kind of suspended on either side of the vessel. So you can use whatever weapons you want. I opted for these no-brain alpha turrets. I usually just fly in one straight line, and turrets usually just kill everything for me on the normal difficulty. Not sure how they perform in very hard. I don't play in very hard anymore. So next I've got 3 of these Torch 250 laser cannons. One gets fitted on this spine here, and then the other 2 go on the bottom sides of our Deimos Wing A's. I'm just trying to hide these guns. Really, I don't typically use lasers. They're just on there for the giggles. I wanted to have a little bit extra firepower on here in addition to the auto alpha turrets. I feel like the UC military would have done that, even though this is supposed to accompany exploration teams. It's still military, so, you know, they're gonna have weapons on these things. So anyway, that concludes the main building for the Corbita-Class freighter. So congratulations if you've built this along with me. Congratulations, you've got it fully assembled. So let's go ahead and talk about the paint. So for the coloring, I'm not going to go into each and every single piece's individual detail, but I'm just going to give my overall mindset for the coloring. And my mindset, once again, was basically just stick with default Deimos colors. So this is part of a line of ships that I'm doing, you know, rebuilt UC Navigator Corps ships, and I did kind of want to have my own little color scheme for all of them, but I opted to actually leave this one mostly default dark gray color because this is a hauling ship, and I kind of wanted it to sort of stand away from the exploration side. So I have in my mind, like, the main explorers of the Navigator Corps have kind of a whiter, lighter color. There are darks in there, but the main things that you should see is like a white color. This one I opted to leave the default gunmetal coloring just because I kind of wanted it to look a little more industrial, a little more gritty, perhaps not as gritty as a Hope Tech ship. But I felt comfortable, I felt it was right leaving pretty much all of these the default color, so most of it is. There's 2 points I do want to talk about. They're just little accent colors here. You can see I did add a touch of my opinion on what that UC teal, UC blue looks like as accent coloring on the engines here, so I did add that little bit of blue just to sort of indicate, hey, this is a UC vessel. Down here where these Nova Galactic landing feet are, you can actually color this area right here. See how it's got that like faded hazard orange coloring there? I added that. On color 3, you can control that color. So I thought having like a hazard paint there would look neat, because when you're landed on a planet, that orange sticks out and you can see it, and it adds a little bit of variety to the color in a good way. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the coloring mindset. So the interior it's not super complicated, but I'm going to give a tour of it nonetheless so you can see what it looks like. So it's just going to be a quick one. So I will see you inside. All right, everybody, here we are at Eagle Ship Shop, and there is the Corbita-Class freighter right behind me. So let's go head inside, see what's going on. Let me just do a wide angle here so you can see this thing from foot level, on foot level. Thing's pretty tall. I'm not going to go too in-depth with the interior tour. I'm just going to kind of take you on a brief walkthrough. There's not a whole lot of roleplay notes for me to go over. It's a very, very simple layout. But yeah, here we are in the main area. So this is the 1x1 cube that we enter into. And right down here, that's our docking bay. I'll go into the bridge last. So let's go ahead and hop up to the second deck. So we are directly above the bridge now. And we are going to start walking towards the aft section of the ship now. So we're inside a control station, or sorry, the workshop. The workshop leads into a control station. And here is the kind of caboose, the Nova Galactic all-in-one berth that I love so much. It's been so long since I've been inside one. This is a cool hab. This is the very aft section of the ship. So we're going to have to go up a few floors here to get to the top. So let's go ahead and hop up. Okay. Yay for jetpack skills. So here we are on the top floor. This is kind of the main crew quarters area, I guess. It leads into a control room here. I kind of thought maybe this is where the crew can go to do work, I guess. I don't know, like I said, it's not a very, you know, roleplay oriented hab setup, but here's our double all-in-one berth setup for the crew. And we are moving towards the front of the ship now. So here's our second all-in-one berth, and the nose of the ship's going to be like right there. So super duper simple Habs layout. Kind of got a space train theme going on here. I know I already built a space train themed ship, but this is, I guess, can be considered kind of another space train-like ship. So let's hop up to the very tippity top, and this is the captain's quarters. I do realize that a captain's quarters probably wouldn't be the furthest hab from the bridge, but it's, you know, it was the only place I really felt comfortable placing it. I could have put it down further, but then it would have been, people would have been walking through here to get to other parts of the ship, and that wouldn't be very appropriate for the captain's quarters. So right at the very top of the ship it goes. So here we are. I fell back down to the first floor. We're making our way towards the front of the ship now, back through this control station and workshop setup. Let's go down here to the very bottom of the ship, back into the Ares bridge. Just so you can see it. We did glitch build stuff up above, but they are, what were they? Nova Galactic bracers were glitch built, and they're clipping into the bridge, but you can't see them at all. So if you were curious about that, there is nothing clipping inside of this hab. In fact, there's nothing clipping at all. You get some really neat views out the windows of parts of the ship. I love that in these builds. You can look behind here and see our Nova Galactic landing thruster there. And best view in the house. I know some of you might be concerned that the bridge's location might obscure the view, but I assure you it does not. You have a very unobstructed view of everything. The only thing you can see is a little bit of that Hope Tech nose cone up there, but that's no big deal. Plus, it's super neat. When you look up there and you're stopping, you can see the some of the jet cones from the retros going off. So overall, very cool. You can kind of see up inside a little bit here from the windows. Just really get a good scale of how big this thing is from inside the bridge, if you look hard. If you're just trying to pilot the ship, though, its position will not obscure your view. So anyways, that's it for the interior tour. That's it for the ship building. I think she's space-worthy, so I shall see you in space. Well, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope it was easy enough for you to follow, and I sincerely wish you happy hauling into the great unknown with your new Corbita-Class freighter. See you next time.